What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Geek City, and it is time for the Justice League Reading Order Part 2. So let's get started. Okay, so the first book we're going to be looking at is The Injustice League by Dwayne McDuffie. Dwayne McDuffie had a great run on Justice League. I don't own all the books, but I do own this one, and this is one of my favorite Justice League stories. So basically, it takes place during a wedding, and you have villains forming their own team against the Justice League. And it's such a good story. It's not long, it doesn't take long. So I would really suggest reading this story. It's one of the best. Do yourself a favor. The artwork in here is great. It's a great story. And again, Dwayne McDuffie has one of the best runs on Justice League. I need to get more of them because they're great. And they also have like a really good plot. You know what I mean? Just great plot in general. Let me see. Hold on if I can find it. There's one page in here that's really hilarious to me. Because it's like, I mean, they knew what they were doing. They aren't slick. Let me find it. There's one, like, specific page where it's like, they weren't even bothering hiding what they were doing. Like, they knew what they were doing. And, yeah, they knew what they were doing here with this. They can get the, Yeah, no, it has a great plot. Okay, I'm being weird. Hold on. You get what I'm saying. So this is... Injustice League. It's a great story. Do yourself a favor and read it if you have not already done so. Next, we have another event. I don't like this event at all, and I made a huge mistake buying this omnibus. But that is Final Crisis Omnibus. I've realized now that with events, you do not need to read. You don't need to buy these omnibuses. They're just adding on filler. And that I didn't know that when I bought this. So this is one of my first omnibuses. And I made a huge mistake buying it. It's so boring. I'm not a huge fan of Final Crisis. It's important. Because Batman kind of dies, sort of. Not really. It's not that big of a spoiler. So, yeah. But don't worry. Batman comes back to life because it's Batman. I mean, this thing is huge. This is my biggest omnibus. It's huge. But I don't like it very much. Just, if you're going to buy it, if you're going to read Infinite or Final Crisis, just get the trade paperback. You don't have to get all this stuff. It's filler. Most of it is really boring and not really necessary. Like, you don't really need to read this stuff in order to understand what's going on. It was just kind of put in there because, yeah, like, I read I'm just sitting here like, oh my god, we're only halfway through. When is this ending? Now, towards the end, when the actual Final Crisis event starts, there's some really good fight scenes in here. But you gotta go through all of this filler to get to that point. So that's kind of what holds it back. I really wish I didn't buy this thing. $150 down the drain. So Batman comes back, obviously, in Grant Morrison's Batman run, and then there are a few other Justice League stories. But the next big book is another event. We got Flashpoint. Time to reset the universe again. This was originally not supposed to reset the universe. It was supposed to be just another story. But DC decided that they wanted it to reset the universe and do another... change. So, that's what this story is. This is Flashpoint. Everybody knows Flashpoint. I mean, this is an iconic story. Everybody knows it. So good. It's one of Jeff Johns' best stories. And basically, Flash goes into, like, an alternate world because he decides to change things and save his mom. And that causes, a lot of bad stuff. And that's when we get, Thomas Wayne Batman, this version of Superman. A lot of messed up in here. You have the war with the Atlanteans and the Amazons. Such a good story. I wouldn't mind expanding on this world now. There is an omnibus. I'm not buying it, but I'm just saying it would be cool if we got like a story of like, the Amazon war. That's a great panel right there. But basically at the end, the Flash resets or reboots, whatever you call it, the universe. And so we have another DC reboot after this book. But this is a good book. Again, do you need the $150 omnibus for it? No, you don't. I mean, you can if you want to. Go ahead. But, now we have my favorite run on Justice League. I don't care what anybody says. This is my favorite. We have Justice League New 52 run by Jeff Johns. I have praised this book since I've had this channel. I love this. Check out both of my spoiler reviews on these two books. They are just, oh my god, I love them so much. There's so much great stuff going on in here. The writing is top notch. Geoff Johns really understands these characters. There are some great artists in here. So many good stories in here. So this is kind of, the Justice League forming, because this is the reboot. So, things have changed. You also have Shazam in here. That Shazam story that the movie is based off. But look at this stuff. Great artwork. I love these versions of the characters that Geoff Johns has created. There's the, what's it called? Atlantean War. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Rise of the Atlanteans. Something. I don't remember what it's called. I'm sure I'll remember it in like 5 minutes or something. But there's so much iconic stuff in here. That the Darkseid fight, Trinity War, the Justice League of America, or what are they called? Crud. It's a David Finch artwork stuff. I'm trying to remember what it's called. But it's all setting up something. It's all like one big arc that Justice League is that Geoff Johns is setting up. And all of this leads into Trinity War. All of this leads into a big event that Geoff Johns is cooking up. And it's so good. So you have this little 7-issue subplot going on, and it's so good. And that all leads into Trinity War, which is a lot of fun. It's also really chaotic. But at the end of it, I don't want to spoil, but I kind of have to. The Crime Syndicate. Let me find it right here. This book ends with the cliffhanger because the Crime Syndicate show up and kind of defeat the Justice League, which leads right into another big event. This is a great story. It's action-packed. You don't get any time to rest or anything. It's from one action scene to the next. And that's what I love about it. So after the Crime Syndicate takeover, we have another event. Forever Evil, which I don't like this omnibus as much as the volume 1, but it's still really good. Check out my review on it if you haven't. So Forever Evil is this large story where basically the Crime Syndicate have taken over, so Lex Luthor and a few other villains have to come together to stop the Crime Syndicate. And it's a really fun story. But basically, because of that, Lex Luthor joins the League. And of course, a lot of people are suspicious. And so that's kind of the big plot of this omnibus, is just Lex Luthor doing stuff and the Justice League having to stop it, or like figure out if he's lying and whatnot. That's a lot of what's going on in here. So that's kind of what holds it back. He also has some great artwork in here with like Jason Fabok or Fabok, whatever it's called. I mean, the stories are good. Yeah, I also have Jessica Cruz being introduced in here. The stories are good. Don't get me wrong. There's not a bad book in here. It's just not as strong. You also have like Captain Cold getting to do something for once. So that's cool. Captain Cold's actually a pretty big part of the story. He joins Captain Cold and Lex Luthor join the Justice League. That's kind of funny, but whatever. And then you have the Darkseid War, which I thought was alright. I think the movie was actually way better. But it's cool. But yeah, I like this one, but I don't love it as much. I think it's good. It's good. Volume 1 is superb though. And guess what? We have another relaunch, because here is Rebirth. Yeah, it's time for our another relaunch or another reboot, whatever you call it. I don't know. But this run was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy it. I loved what Geoff Johns did. And it's time to go on to a series that is not as praised. So here it is. Justice League by Bryan Hitch. We had to end Geoff Johns' incredible Justice League run so we could get this. This is probably the most mediocre Justice League I've ever... The only reason I bought this is because it was $7 at Ollie's. This is the deluxe edition. It's like the most mediocre Justice League story of all time. I mean, this is not... I can't believe we stopped Geoff Johns' run so we can get this. But yeah, this is Rebirth, and a lot of Rebirth stuff is really good. This is not one of them. This is okay. It's not that good. A lot of really bad stuff in here. Like, a lot of just really bad writing. There's some fun action, so I can kind of be like, okay, this is fun. I'm digging what they're doing here, but overall, it's like a 4 out of 10. I can reread. I can read it. It's readable, but that doesn't make it good. So yeah, this is really just insane. Love that artwork though by Gary Frank. But yeah, we had to stop Jeff Johns' run so we could get this story here. But you know, eventually Rebirth ended. So there was Justice League has been weird since after Rebirth because we've never really had like a real main title. Because basically, Christopher Priest wrapped up Justice League Rebirth, and then we haven't really had a real Justice League series since then. Like, even with Dawn of DC, we haven't gotten any Justice League, like, a main title Justice League book. Now, we've gotten some other stuff that I'm going to talk about, like, here is Dark Knight's Metal. This is a lot of fun. It's a Justice League story. It's just not, like, literally, it's not called Justice League. It's, you know, Dark Knight's Death Metal. It's a mini-series. And this is a lot of fun, by the way. Read it if you haven't. I don't think a lot of people read this one. It's a lot of fun. It's like a ton of different versions of Batman, and they're evil, and they have this Batman Who Laughs came from this book. It's a lot of fun. But, as I'm saying, we haven't really gotten any real Justice League since Rebirth. So that's kind of it. There's not really any new Justice League books coming out, other than, like, Justice League Odyssey. But again, not really talking about that, because it's not Justice League, the main Justice League book. So that's it. There's not really anything else to talk about. We've literally looked at everything, because Justice League has not had a mainline title. We don't have one anymore. There's no more Justice League to talk about. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please consider liking the video, subscribing. Let me know in the comments, you know, if you know anything about a new Justice League series, please let me know. I want more Justice League. We don't have any. There's none. But yeah, subscribe, turn on notifications, comment what you thought. And again, if you want to say so in the next reading order poll, comment on this video right here. At the end of every reading order, if you comment what you want on the poll, then I will add it. Like, someone asked for Daredevil, so I added it to the poll. Someone asked for Justice League. The reason we're doing this is because someone asked. And, like, Superman and X-Men, so yeah. I will make the next poll once there are a few suggestions coming in, so if you guys enjoyed. Stay geeky!